boys in blue are back.
Back!
We're back, baby!
Yelinich, he finishes that shot! And another save! Matt Freed!
Welcome to another episode of the City Boys.
Welcome to another episode of the City Boys Show. I'm Javier. This is Danny on a rainy Wednesday Yankee Stadium game. This is not what I was expecting.
Bro, the vibes were low. Hump day I was not feeling the hump day.
I was not feeling very humpy. I didn't know where I was going with that, but you went with the hump, so I just kept going. Depressing game.
It was rainy. It was
the
cold.
interesting thing is we came from such a high last week. Why am I holding the mic? This is going to sound terrible with the audio, but my bad, guys. We came from such a high of the weekend. Tuesday hits, the Knicks lose. Wednesday comes. I'm like, we'll have the bounce back. Knicks are going to win on Friday. Everything will be... It didn't happen.
It didn't happen, bro. I mean...
Yeah, an interesting thing. Not an interesting thing. A video I saw. Tom Hanks. We were on it when life is good, best weekend of your life, this too shall pass. When you're having the worst day of your life, this too shall pass. Basically, what I'm saying is, when we have those high times, be happy in those moments, but it's gonna pass. And then when we have these low times, hopefully they pass. But I don't know.
I think that's something way deeper in your head than when you said it out.
This too shall pass. Initial thoughts, same starting lineup. Were you feeling confident once you saw that?
Feeling confident, but also concerned. I do think, we've had 6 games in 21 days.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So you look at that and you go, I'm excited to see this lineup again. It's been working. Worked against the Red Bulls. It worked against the Fire. But can the team hold up? And it didn't. And so I think one of the storylines to this game is the poor performance because you're bringing out the same team over and over again, and are they exhausted? Or is it just a poor performance by the team? And the question was asked to Jansen. Do you remember his answer?
Yeah, Jansen was basically like, oh, yeah, that would be a great excuse, but I'm not giving excuses, which was a great answer, basically.
Yes,
he was basically like, hey, we could blame the weather. We could blame our fatigue. We could blame that we just played on Sunday. But at the end of the day, we didn't get it done.
He said, my teams can play 2 times a week. That is what he said.
Well, since the beginning of the season, I've heard that he's been doing 2 a day. So He's got these guys working a lot more than they were last season, for sure. Yes. Oh, lights are out. We're getting kicked out early.
Bro. This podcast is going to be 5 minutes long.
So you, I guess, first half comes. What did you think of the team's performance that first half?
I thought the team was sloppy, and you couldn't. Sometimes it's hard to blame it on the rain, but you saw a team that wasn't able to find that type of output that we kind of were seeing in the past few games in the final third. Right? It looked like a team that didn't know what to do with the ball, moved too slowly. I looked around to see if Cushion was still around because I was like, "This reminds me of last year, bro."
And one thing Jansen did say was low tempo throughout the game, sloppy passing, low tempo. It was just really sloppy.
Yes, I agree. Look at this. We got a guest star here. Roberto, you coming?
Roberto, come in.
Coming? Please, here. Much more knowledgeable. Come in. Come here, Roberto. Come here.
Play-by-play Spanish radio announcer Roberto. Thoughts on the game? What's your biggest takeaway from this game?
God, it was awful. It was awful. It was a rainy night. Few people showed up. 17,000 tickets distributed.
How real? Oh, okay. You said distributed. Got it.
Right. So 17,070 tickets distributed, and there's probably 6,000 people here, maybe. Don't know, but the only thing you can say for that is that for the guys that missed it, for all the people that missed it, well, it was a good thing that they missed this game.
Danny was desperately trying to miss this game, and I forced him to come.
I felt the vibes were low, man. You saw the rain. It was a Wednesday. It felt like you should be home drinking some hot chocolate.
I was excited to come here after watching the Knicks last night blow it the way that they blew it. I was excited to come here last night. I wanted to get to come here and watch a good game, and hopefully New York City comes out with a win for their fans and all that. But it didn't work out. Houston gets their first win ever here. And there were 2-2-2 after 6 games. Yeah. They'd never won in New York, and now they've won in New York.
What do you? I think last season the biggest thing we saw was inconsistencies. You'd have a high of a couple weeks and have a real low the next couple weeks. And it's sort of kind of filling into that. It's kind of moved over into this season as well. And we have a new coach. But what do you attribute to the lack of consistency on this team?
I don't know. I thought they were getting consistent, especially on the defensive end. I was really liking what I was seeing. I especially liked the move to Justin Hack to central of defense. And then with O'Toole getting hurt, you move Reese out there. I thought Reese was doing a decent job. You have to remember that Thiago Martins didn't have a preseason. So basically his preseason was the beginning of the season. And so now he's settled down. And then Tavon Gray's been playing very well defensively, and Mitchell has been playing very well. Those guys are interchangeable right now. And you just felt good. And Matt Freese has been having like an outstanding season. To see them allow 3 goals like that tonight was just totally out of sorts, because they hadn't allowed anything like that since they lost, to Atlanta 4-3 over in Atlanta, in a game that they, we thought that they had won because they were up 3-1 in that game, and then they wound up losing it. But, to see them allow 3 goals at home, and I didn't think that, aside from the first maybe 20, 25 minutes, I thought after that they played pretty poorly. And what I'm wondering about, and what I'm concerned about for this team, is that it's really becoming a race to the first goal. And if New York gets the first goal, then other teams have to come out and attack them, and that opens up. But if the other team gets the first goal, then they just go and they just put everyone behind the ball, and New York has a problem breaking those sort of teams down. Now, you could say, well, Chicago scored first, and New York came back and won 3-1. But that game changed when Brian Gutierrez got red carded, and, that changes things. But against 11, and other teams score first, park the bus, New York City's having a really hard time breaking those teams down.
Yeah, I think a question that we asked Jansen and want to get your thoughts on is we try to give Jansen kind of an excuse, right? Bad weather, 6 games in 21 days, and he was saying nope. Like my team is supposed to be able to play 2 games a week. My team,
Houston had the same problem, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they didn't have an advantage. I mean, Houston had the same sort of games, same amount of games in the same amount of time. As a matter of fact, they've been on the road.
Yeah.
So New York City had 2 games at home, although Sunday, Wednesday versus Houston, Saturday, Wednesday. But still, so I didn't think that New York City had an advantage as far as that's concerned.
So then, what do you attribute the poor performance to?
They just played poorly.
But to add to what you were saying, I think when those teams get in a low block, it becomes very hard for us to get anybody to actually finish and get past that low block and actually score. And I think we're so heavily reliant on Alonso Martinez to be that guy that I think that's where our problem lies. And I'm curious if you think the same way. Like, we got all these wingers that we said, hey, these guys are going to be the future of this team. They're going to be the guys we look forward to and progress this team. Julian, Agustin Ojeda. And these guys haven't really been those players that we thought they were going to be. Do you agree?
I agree. I think that's right, because if you have your wingers have to come in, and your wingers, especially in a situation like that, have to be able to beat their guys one-on-one. And there just wasn't enough of that, or when they did, that they could put in a good cross or find somebody. I mean, Houston was really compact in the box, especially after they got the lead. And New York City only had 1 shot on goal for the entire game.
But I would say something that, that always interests me is I saw we did attempt quite a lot of crosses the past few games, and not a lot of them have turned into goals. And my thought is, does that work for this team? When I think I was looking it up, the average height of our team is 4'5". So how exactly are you?
This is why I get him on the show. Expert analysis here.
What is the team supposed to even do with crosses when you have such a short team in a way?
I mean, we have Thiago Martins, we have Keane Parks.
I wouldn't say crossing to Thiago Martins in the final third, bro.
Well, you are on corner kicks.
Corner kicks,
you're looking for him, and you're looking for Justin Hack on quarter kicks, and if Keaton Parks is there, then you're looking for him. But New York City doesn't exactly. I mean, throughout their history, New York City hasn't been a team that scores a lot of headers.
Yeah,
other than the exception of Tati Castellanos, but
Tati could do that. But Tati is with Lazio now, so
we were kind of talking about this earlier with Halen from Five Borough Footy. we've kind of set this expectation that Alonso Martinez could have been this Tati-esque type player. Do you think Alonso Martinez can be that type of player?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and you can see the parallels. Somebody who was brought in to be a winger and then, due to circumstances, whatever they are, was forced into the middle. And now I think he's shining there. But, other teams, what they're doing now is that they're concentrating their defense on him and they're saying, hey, we're going to stop him. We're going to do whatever we can to stop him. We're going to dare everybody else to beat us. And so everybody else has to step up, which is what they did last week when Wolf gets a goal and Bakar gets a goal. But nobody else showed today. So
talking about Bakar, Halen, you from Five Borough Footy, Halen's here.
Myself out.
I mean, you can push this back.
I know it's so close.
You guys can sit a little further back, and then we all get in.
Yeah,
the last thing you need is just to see my.
I think you had a good point about Bakar. We were talking earlier, and you kind of talked about like, hey, Alonso, and if you combine Alonso and Bakar together, you kind of get this Tati-esque player. Yeah, can you elaborate more on that? I thought it was an interesting point.
So with Alonso has, I believe, 8 goal contributions on the season so far, and about half of those came from him poaching and pouncing on attacking third situations. He's, in my opinion, pretty much a straightforward poacher. Right, he attacks bad back passes. He attacks, shots. That one shot from Keaton that popped up in the air and he bicycle kicked it. Shot from Maxi that was saved and deflected. He that's just how he thrives. He's not necessarily like, yes, he's rapid, but to be the type of finisher that they're trying to use him as, it's asking a lot of him to make that run in behind a 35-yard run, 35-yard run, and then to beat his guy and then to create a shot. It's a lot for a guy we just converted into a striker just last season and really at the tail end of last season. Whereas you have Bakar, who is a striker by trade, and yes, I'm the president of the anti-Munsef committee, but at the same time, you got to give credit to a guy where credit's due, and in every other metric except goal scoring, his winning duels. Now he's winning aerial duels and his pressing intensity and all of those things. He does all the things you want your striker to do. So except, in front of goal. So if you put those two guys together, if you somehow, they do like a Trunks and who's the other Trunks and Gohan fusion dance, they become a more complete striker. And you saw it even in the last game. I don't know if it's a coincidence that Munsef gets subbed on. The backline has a lot more to deal with as far as attacking diversity, and the goals come, right? It didn't feel very dangerous up until that point. And yes, it helps that Goody gets the red card. That's probably most of the reason why the goals came. But I do think asking Alonso to do all those things all at once is a bit demanding.
Agreed. No, I completely agree. How do we bounce back? How do we go into Nashville and bounce back after this?
Well, you got to play solidly. You got to play solidly in defense. Nashville, I don't know if they won or lost tonight. They were 2-2 like in the 80-something minute against Columbus. I haven't seen what the final result was of that game. But Nashville's a very, very tough game. They're a very tough team. I think they've only lost once at home. They've got 6 wins so far this season. So Lotus Park is never going to be an easy place to go. But New York City is going to, maybe it helps them, the fact that Nashville playing at home maybe has to come out and attack a little bit more. And that opens up some of those spaces that New York City needs, especially Alonso Martinez, to be able to run behind, defenses with long balls, which is what, one of the things that New York City has been sort of prioritizing this season. Not everything is like through slow buildups anymore. Sometimes, when Route 1's available, they're going to Route 1. And if they can hit the right pass and he can run onto the ball, then he's going to be very, very dangerous. They had one here tonight, but it was too close to goal. He beat the goalie, but then he just ran out of space. So, we have to see. But New York City has to dominate the midfield, and they have to be solid on defense. And today was just not a day where all of those things happened. And I guess the best thing that happened out of today is that Matt Freese doesn't seem to be seriously injured. And we thought that he was. Tomas Romero put his shirt on and he was ready to come in. And then, Matt Freese was okay. It looked like his shoulder got jammed in the ground when he made the first save and allowed the rebound for Siegel.
Yeah.
How about Siegel getting 2 goals coming
Yeah.
back to New York City?
Yeah, we talked about our ex-players coming in and having great games against. We just saw Barraza have an amazing game against, and now we got Gabe Siegel.
Yeah.
These
He
exes.
had 2 goals in Houston, and now he's got 4. He did. He only had 2 goals for them since he signed with them last year.
He didn't have any goals this season.
No, this season he was 0 for 5.
Insane.
There's 0 goals in 5 games.
It's crazy.
New York City is like the good luck Chuck of MLS. How did you feel watching Keaton with Aiden get a little bit more time?
Good, because Keaton is one of the more progressive players as far as having the ball and going forward and creating opportunities. You need Keaton Parks out there. You absolutely need Keaton Parks out
The
there.
game changed immediately. Once
Yeah,
he came on.
he's there. He's so smooth on the ball. He's technically gifted. He really sees the game very well. So I think it's important, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's starting in the next game. I think he starts in Nashville on Saturday afternoon.
All right. Well, hopefully we don't roll him out too fast because we saw him limping towards the end of that game. Well, he got banged up on one of those plays, so hopefully we're not rolling out Keaton Parks. We're getting kicked out soon, guys. But
talking about that limping though, they zoomed into Keaton Parks. He was on the floor, right? Looked a little scary. But then I saw his legs. My man had trunks. What's he doing? You're at practice? Is he doing 10,000 squats?
I don't know, but he's a strong man. He's
It's-
a very
it's
strong man.
insane.
And I mean, now that his legs are getting bigger and all that, let's see if he can power a few shots on goal and put some power behind it. Because that helps open up defenses. When they're afraid of you shooting from outside the box, that opens things up. So I think that should be part of his arsenal.
You know what? One more question while we got you.
Before they kick us out?
Yeah, before they kick us out.
I think I see a shotgun there. I'm not too sure. Security is very, very strong here at Yankee Stadium.
Aiden O'Neal, how are you feeling about him so far with the team and what he's brought? Has it been the impact that you expected?
Pretty much. I mean, it takes time to adjust. It takes time to, get to know your teammates. I mean, this is why when they bring guys in the July window, it takes them sometimes a full half season until the next season to finally get themselves acclimated. So be patient. I think he's got a lot of talent, a lot of quality, and he's going to get better. Just be patient with him.
all right, we got to go. We're getting kicked out. It's a wrap. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Roberto,
you,
for joining
guys.
us.
Yeah, thank you,
Make sure you
brother.
tune into the Spanish Play-by-Play Radio.
And for joining
And thanks,
too.
Alan, for joining too.
You don't say we're not smart because sometimes we bring smart people.
Peace.
Peace.